Is immortality possible? Yes. And it's probable and it's coming in the future. And when I say immortality, I mean people will never die. I see responses in the comments to some of my videos that saying, no, history tells us, Kerry, that these companies are overvalued and that they're going to come crashing down in price, and you just can't justify the prices. Well, that what that tells me, first of all, is you haven't read this book, um, and you don't have a firm understanding of how technology is and innovation are merging together, that things are going to change so dramatically in the next 10 years that you aren't even going to recognize what this country and this world is going to look like. And until you come to that conclusion, you aren't going to understand what's going to happen. You're not going to be able to predict what's going to happen. I say shame on you because it's right here. It's right here. And it's right here. These books can educate you to be better than the New York investors, because I'll guarantee you they haven't read them. They haven't taken the time. They're tied up in their charts and their history and the past of investment. But I want to ask you a basic question. If you had all the money that you needed to have everything that you wanted, your yachts, your private airplanes, your magnificent automobiles, your multiple homes in various locations, and everything that you could imagine that you wanted, you could have. You could even be throwing rockets up into the air because you wanted to go to Mars and populate Mars for future generations because you are that far thinking ahead. If you had all that, what would you then spend the rest of your money on? Might it be immortality? Well, that's why Google has a division of its company devoted specifically to that. I don't know if you know that 23andMe is Larry Page's ex-wife's business, very closely related to Google. They're heavy into genome therapy. I want you to get this book. Do yourself a favor, go into the descriptions and get this book, and go to page 169, The Future of Longevity, and teach yourself, or at least make yourself aware of the 9 things that are going to kill you. The doctors and scientists, and I'm not going to go through each of these individually and try to explain them because I don't hope to totally understand this. But this here, I'll show you. These are the 9 things that kill us. Now think about that. If I can identify the 9 things that create the circumstances that takes this body into death, and then if I can, through use of technology, particularly artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing, if I can then address those 9 things that will kill me and then find cures for them through using mice and whatever, then what's going to kill me? What if I can take away all the reasons I'm going to die, and if I've got enough money to make that happen, why not? The author of this book basically says within 10 years, there are companies that are going to give us the means to live forever. One of the companies is Samund, Samund. They are testing pharmaceuticals that will stop the aging process. Actually, they speak of the means by which they will populate your blood cells with detectors that go through and correct the aging problem. They say that within 10 years, for every year you live, you will live another year. That is to say that technology will be coming so rapidly that each year they will add another year to your life. They use the number of 500 years old. I had read this book, and you've heard me speak of it in the past, and then it was brought to my attention in Saturday, Sunday's Wall Street Journal, an article that highlighted all this again and made it top of mind for me. You might imagine, being 75 years old, turning 76 in September, this is important to me. It gives me a ray of hope that I'm going to live forever. I'm going to learn to fly. From Fame, one of my favorite movies. This is possible. So when I tell you that Larry Page and Sergey Brin and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are taking their excess money in investing in the one thing they can't have right now, and that is immortality, I'm telling you it's going to happen. And the companies you need to invest in are not maybe the pharmaceutical companies that you'll read about in the book, this book here, but instead the companies who are financing it, the companies, the Amazons, the Googles, the Teslas. These are the people who have skin in the game and have the money to make it happen. So that's where we want to go. In this book, he also mentions another book. He says, in fact, the author of this book makes an interesting comment. He says, when you finish this book, pick up David Sinclair's Lifespan. This is it here. I've just picked it up. I'm just starting to read it. And what it is it is a detailed description of what takes our life away from us and what can be done to turn that around. So I say to you, invest in the future. Don't get hung up on valuations of companies, because the valuations of today have nothing to do with the valuations of tomorrow. The change that's going to come into your life, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you need to plan to live to be 250 years old or more. If you're in your 50s, you got a good chance this is going to happen to you. And you're going to have the opportunity if, and this is the caveat, if you got enough money to pay for it, because this isn't going to be cheap. There's going to be a lot of money invested to make this happen. It isn't going to be something that you're going to go to the grocery store and go to the pharmaceutical shelf and pick up your pill to make this happen. No, this is going to be a medical process through pharmaceuticals, through injections that reverse the aging process. They've done some, he goes into a study where they have, it's part of the chapter is called The Bloody Fountain of Youth, where they have actually taken old mice that were showing their age and their decrepancy, and they take the blood of the young mouse and they interject that blood into the old mouse, and they can see with their eye a change in the old mouse. Then they do the process in reverse, and they can see in the young mouse, the extreme aging. So it's a matter of understanding what makes these changes and how you can revitalize the cells in the human body through altering the cells and cleaning them up. Most cancer is merely cells gone awry, genomes out of place. Read these 9 causes of death and come away and say, if they know that's what causes death, and with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing, you can live forever. There's some issues wrapped around that, but it's not going to be cheap. So with that in mind, you need to become a smarter investor so that when this happens, you can be a participant. Again, educate yourself, buy the books. They're in the description. When you buy this book, I make somewhere around 35 cents. So that's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it for to bring your intelligence level up. I'm going to share some additional things in my morning market plan about the companies that I see that maybe I want to take a look at investing in. I know this is a 5 to 10 year bet. But if you want to get that information, it's free. Go to bestofusinvestors.com, give me your email, and you'll be on my morning email list. So that's my takeaway for the Monday. This is getting ever more exciting.